What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. We are back yet again with another YouTube video. So a few days ago I dropped a video covering some really bad takes from racists who didn't like it Welcome to Derry, and it ended up doing way better than I thought it would, so I appreciate y'all for the support, gang. Thank you. Of course, once again, if you want to see my review on the show, I'll leave the link to it in the description, but quite a few of you guys in my comments requested that I take a look at some other videos by another YouTuber, and oh my god, these videos are actually much worse than the ones I covered last time. So I guess we'll turn this duology into a trilogy and roast yet another couple of bad reviews. This first one is just like, already look at the title of this video. Welcome to Derry has non-stop racism rant. I don't understand it, man. Y'all not racist. Y'all claim to not be racist, but y'all be clutching your pearls whenever racism gets criticized. Like, make it make sense, bro. But according to the keyboard clan, you're too woke if you think that, apparently. So before we get into this, if you like what you see, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, or else I will personally have Pennywise show up and slice your head open with a cleaver. And you know, you definitely don't want that to happen. So with that being said, obviously we're just responding to these videos. Don't go and harass the guy. If you have anything to say about his video, just say it in mine, and let's get into it.
I was sitting on my shitter last night when my mind wandered to the worst excesses of entertainment, as it often does. It was then that I realized that there's no reason for Ariel and the Little Mermaid to be black. High levels of melanin is an evolutionary trait, so how did a fish lady miles below sea level?
Okay, we don't have time for this. Let's just skip to the part where he starts talking about the actual show.
Alright, anyway, episode 7 picks up where episode 6 left off, but not before we see the origins of the Pennywise character and the death of Bob Gray. As cool as this scene was to see, because Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, Bill Skarsgård is the only damn person with even an ounce of charisma and screen presence in this show. I don't understand why in the hell it was in here. It's not like there was a cool kill or anything. We just see Bob do his little act. There's a bunch of shithead kids that storm the stage. His eventual psychopath little daughter shows him her costume. And then he wanders off into the forest with a random kid and dies. No kill sequence, no blood, no gore, nothing. But hey, at least we got to see creator Andy Muschietti in the background, the fucking dick.
My guy, the seed was clearly in there to show how the entity found Pennywise and why it chose to emulate its form specifically. As we saw, his clown form was good at luring in children. And it also gives insight into what Ingrid's relationship with his dad was like before he was killed, which ties into her storyline. But I don't know, he's criticizing the scene because there's no kill sequence in it. Okay, we're in for a rough one, y'all.
We're then brought back to the current day, as it were, where the Legion of White Decency demands that Hank Grogan, the child murderer, because even still the dumb fuck won't clear his own name, be turned over to them. And you know what? For the first time in this show's existence, characters finally make smart decisions. Hank steps forward. He turns himself over to the white dudes. They put him into their cars, drive off, and after a few moments to process what happened, everyone at the black spot goes back to what they were doing and the party continues.
Psych!
Fucking nope. The polar opposite happens. Hank tries to give himself up so that nobody dies on his behalf, and for whatever goddamn reason, everyone in the joint is like, nope, that's not gonna happen. We have no idea if you're innocent or not. We're just taking this asshole's word for it because she's black and so are you. So I guess we're all gonna die.
Is your idiot brain getting fucked by stupid?
Oh my god, dude, there's no fucking way he just said that. Why doesn't Hank just clear his own name? They literally give you reasons for this multiple times. First off, the authorities wanted him punished regardless if he was actually guilty of the crime or not. If he reveals the information that he did what he did with a married white woman, those same racist, corrupt officials would not only have an even bigger reason to kill them along with the people in town, they would go after Ingrid, the person he was with. So by not saying anything, he's also protecting someone else. It's so funny how he criticizes the military members for protecting Hank, not knowing whether he's innocent or not, but doesn't criticize the racist white people for trying to kill Hank, not knowing or caring whether Hank is innocent or not.
Stupid!
And also, he doesn't have anything to say about them killing a dozen innocent black people 2 minutes later. Even if we ignore that Hank probably told them about the situation and where he was with Ingrid, let's just say they didn't know all the facts. They'd still be in the right because they're still protecting Hank's right to fair justice and a fair process. These guys have absolutely no authority. The military brigade has no obligation to turn him over whatsoever. You literally just said it yourself. No one there knows whether Hank actually did what he was accused of doing or not, which means he shouldn't be killed regardless. But no, it's only because of race apparently, and that's the real reason they did it. Fact that you're scrutinizing the innocent party and not the corrupt authority here is very telling, to say the least.
Oh Lord, I just can't I can't wrap my mind around this show.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm very sure it's hard for a racist to wrap their mind around the concept of why killing an innocent black person due to their skin color is framed as immoral. I'm sure it's very hard for you to understand why that's wrong, but you got it, bro. I'm gonna just continue to let you cook.
Instead of staying away from the windows so they don't get shot or getting low to the ground so they can breathe, you know, something we're taught in middle school, these fucking idiots do the opposite of that and die in the most cartoonish way possible when the Legion set the black spot on fire with the worst looking CGI I've seen in recent memory.
What the fuck? Dog, they were literally doing that in the shot. And how would that even stop all the fire on its way to burn your skin from torches on all sides of the room, literally preventing you from staying in one place? People shooting at you from the windows and the doors chained shut, stopping you from leaving. And his way to survive all of this is just stay low and breathe, bro.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh?
Like, I don't know, maybe this guy has some sort of secret sauce that I need to obtain. If you do, please give us some tips, because I would very much like to know how you're supposed to stay in one place and breathe during something like that. I'm just saying, my guy must be Mr. Freeze or some shit. He got that cold skin, I don't know. But yeah, again, just another awful take.
And the thing is, Hank doesn't even die. Somehow, someway, this asshole who gets 30 people killed in just this scene, except not really because they're all as stupid as he is, sneaks out of the club through a bullshit escape tunnel that Halloran magically decides to start using once dozens of people are dead.
So not only is this guy visibly upset that Hank didn't die in the fire, bro, he just went and called all these people stupid for not turning over an innocent man who hasn't stood trial to a bunch of racists who have zero authority, and not the 30 white dudes who illegally pulled up to a military crib to illegally kill someone. Oh my god, dude. The mental gymnastics are wild. Even then, Halloran didn't just magically start using it when he wanted to. He didn't even know it was there. I'm not sure why he's making it seem like he knew where it was the entire time, because he clearly didn't.
Want to know who does die though? Not this insufferable little shit. Obviously not Hank, but a fan favorite, Rich. With everything collapsing around them, Rich decides to sacrifice himself for Marge by getting her into a convenient case that's laying in the middle of the room and laying on top of it so that she can't get out. Wait, hold up. Wait, I got a few questions here. Marge would have been burned alive in that box. After all, house fires can get anywhere from 600 to 1,000 degrees, so how the hell isn't she cooking like a Thanksgiving turkey in there? At the very least, in a condensed box like that, she would have suffocated from all the smoke, unless the show is suggesting that with Rich laying on top of it, his body weight acting as a sort of seal so smoke can't get in, Marge dies anyway from a lack of oxygen. So, what the hell? Just don't think about it, I guess.
Now, as much as I hate the way this guy is acting throughout the video, this is actually the first bit of decent criticism of this scene. Too bad it took us halfway through the video to get to this point, but nonetheless, he does have a point here. As emotionally great as this sacrifice scene is, Marge surviving this makes literally no sense if you think about it for more than 10 seconds. But what is it with the Roddy slander? I'm very interested in why you think she's more insufferable than the guys in masks torching a house full of innocent black people alive. I would very much like to know the answer to that question.
As if this episode couldn't get any worse, Charlotte shows back up, spouting her usual nonsense, except this time around she has the genius idea of having Hank remove his clothes. So that way she can put them on a body to convince the police in the town that he's dead. Sure, dental records and blood testing were used as a way to identify bodies, even in the 1960s, but sure, whatever, I guess, just don't think about it.
He actually just completely made this part up. Charlotte never says she's gonna put his clothes on a dead body. Like, she literally never says this. It's just implied that she left them at the scene inside. Not to mention, it is technically possible that a body can be burned so bad that it becomes hard to identify the remains. And we have to remember this is the 60s. Technology was nowhere near as advanced as it is now, so identifying bodies was inherently longer and harder. So even if they did eventually figure out he wasn't dead, he'd have already left town and be out out of sight. Not a dumb plan whatsoever.
Hank is dead, and the entire town believes it to the point that he's able to put on one of Major Hanlon's military uniforms, rank and all by the way, so let's just add stolen valor to the list of stupid shit he's doing, and drive around town in broad daylight. Because, you know, all black people look the same.
You serious?
I shit you not. Charlotte gets Hank into her husband's military attire, and when she puts him in a car, one character I can't remember because I was laughing too hard questions how in the hell she expects to get away with it. And she implies that nobody is going to notice because this is a mostly white town, and to them, all black people look the same. How is this show even real?
Dude, the point of that quote was that all black people look the same to racist white people, which this town is full of, as we saw throughout the show. We saw Leroy and Charlotte experience it, and we see Halloran experience it at the gate in the military base. That guard literally did not give a fuck about the privileges he was given or his status. He just saw that he was another black person to him, and because of that, he made the situation 10 times more difficult than it needed to be for no reason. Racists are so caught up in their mental subjugation of certain people that it blinds them to noticing nuances because they're too busy lumping all of them into a category, mentally and physically. That's part of why the plan of disguising him worked in a town like this. That's in universe though. It's not the show literally saying all black people look the same. You just choose to look at it that way either because you just didn't understand it or the show just exposed how you view black people. Absolutely insane.
Oh, and the rapid fire stupidity, it doesn't stop there, dear viewer. No, because come to find out, the general was lying the entire time about weaponizing Pennywise against the Russians. Because, of course, he's outright evil. He's a white male, and we can't have any of those pesky guys doing anything even remotely resembling good. Because this is a modern Hollywood production, after all.
Wow, if only there were white males in the show shown to be good guys, then your point about portraying all white males as evil in the show would be completely invalid. Oh, wait, there are? And this guy's just crying for no reason? Go figure.
Apparently, the general thinks unleashing Pennywise by destroying the magical bullshit pillars will solve most of the United States' civil and social issues. Because even though a shit ton of people are gonna die, they're dying anyway. At least here, there's no civil unrest afterward. Think of it as a controlled chaos versus uncontrolled chaos argument, which makes a bit of sense, I guess. It makes more sense than the rest of the shit in this show. But I couldn't help but start laughing again at the inadvertent racism.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
General Fuckface is standing there explaining to Major Hanlon that there isn't any rioting or looting in the streets after 30 black people just died in a fire. So with 90% of the black population in and around Derry annihilated, magically, most of the stealing and violence has disappeared. I don't think this show is saying what it thinks it's saying.
Where in the world did you get the 90% number from? Also, you just completely missed the point of what Shaw was saying. Shaw's plan wasn't just stop black people from rioting and looting. The black spot was being used as a scare message to stop every protest happening.
Americans are at each other's throats, and it's only getting worse. Anti-nuke crazies, the women's movement, race riots. Look at this town. What happened last night? Horrific. But guess what? Streets are calm today. No rioting, no looting, no unrest here. It settles on every living person it touches like a fog.
Pennywise killed people on all sides of the front at the black spot, and this was reflected in the news the next day. Here, the deaths were basically being framed as a tragedy on every side, quote unquote, because every side lost something. That's why there's no protesting. Not because of the black people he killed that were responsible for the looting, but it's really because of an appearance or a perceived appearance of a common enemy. Now, obviously, Shaw's plan is fucking stupid because it involves sacrificing innocent people, including the ones he's trying to help. But that's the whole point. He's way too extreme on the opposite end. Now, the reason why this reviewer is wrong because he saw all of this, immediately heard the words rioting and looting without the whole context, and just immediately attributed it to black people, when Shaw was clearly talking about everybody. He just completely exposed himself here. And believe it or not, it actually gets worse. Let's take a look at his overview of the show. Like the last video, there's actually a couple of points of valid criticism in this that I can agree with, but it just gets so fucking drowned out by the bigoted viewpoints and just outright awful takes on the story. Let's just listen to the beginning of it.
There was The Last of Us and this alien imposter giving us the most cringe line of dialogue in television history.
I'm gonna be idiot dad.
Followed by this shitty haircut having asshole treating a xenomorph like a Pokemon, which moved into Marie Sue in season 2 of Gen V, all leading us up to Welcome to Derry.
Yeah, so just off of this, I can already see where this video is gonna go, but I gotta interject with the Marie slander. People are still trying to call that lady a Mary Sue, even though she trains to use her abilities, loses and gets outplayed multiple times, and clearly showed to be flawed. Can y'all just tell the truth and say you guys just don't like women in central roles? I'd still fucking blame you, but at least I'd respect the honesty, cause goddamn. But let's continue.
The first reason why Welcome to Derry sucks should come as no surprise to anyone that's been watching me foam at the damn mouth for the last 2 months. Of course, I'm talking about this absolute dickwipe, Charlotte Hanlon.
My name's not Lady, it's Charlotte Hanlon. And that may not mean much to you right now, but it will when you see all the scary shit I can do with the telephone.
Really?
Okay, so I see a grown woman speaking with conviction. I don't understand, like, what's wrong with this scene? I don't know, I guess we'll find out.
I've seen my fair share of shit this year. I've actually seen about 10 different television series, and I'm barreling towards 100 new 2025 films. But I don't think I've seen a character so obnoxious, so narcissistic, so selfish as Charlotte Hanlon. And the thing is,
this is a very interesting assessment of a character that's a whole civil rights activist who puts her life on the line and helps innocent people like Hank get justice from a corrupt system, regardless of who tries to chastise her for it, and literally intervenes to save a kid from getting jumped by troubled teens. I don't know how you can see her do all of that and proceed to call her narcissistic and selfish. I might just be tripping though. Maybe I just haven't seen the vision yet. Let's see the reasoning he gives.
I didn't see it coming. For the first 3 episodes, she was mostly sitting on the sideline, being a sort of yin to Major Hanlon's yang, making little snarky comments here and there about his service to the United States and the racially unjust system that she thinks he's defending. But hot mother of fuck, halfway through she went all out girl boss and didn't let up. Every goddamn episode after that had her saying some weapons grade bullshit that made me want to dropkick my fucking TV.
Oh my fucking...
In episode 4, she shows up at the police station, acting like she owns the place, threatening to call MLK, JFK, MGK, whoever the hell to get back and talk to Hank Grogan.
Okay, so he doesn't give any actual reasoning here. Again, what is wrong with the scene? Y'all do know a woman speaking with confidence and conviction doesn't automatically make someone a girl boss, right? It's so funny because white male characters do shit like this all the time and people like this don't criticize them for it. For example, there's a show out there that some of y'all may know that I really love called Reacher. In one of the episodes, my man straight up just walks into an office, demands information despite him having no clearance whatsoever, and when the guy refuses, he strangles him with a telephone cord to get what he wants, and then just leaves and faces no consequences. Now, I think Reacher is a good show. I'm just using this to point out how it's just so funny how these double standards exist in media and who this crowd of people choose to selectively criticize when it comes to stuff like this.
It's then that we learn that Hank actually has an alibi that clears him of the 3 child homicides he's being charged with. But instead of helping an obviously distressed man make a proper decision, because you'd have to be an idiot to think committing adultery with a white woman is somehow worse than murdering a bunch of kids, Charlotte turns it into this overblown civil rights issue.
Of course.
Because it literally is a civil rights issue. The police had no actual confirmation that Hank was at the scene, and they had to manipulate a child to confess that she saw Hank there, and he was literally going to be shipped off to prison without any fair trial or due process whatsoever. And as we saw later, the police didn't give a fuck about the facts of the situation. They wanted him punished anyway. Charlotte and Hank both know this. And you say that people would have to be idiots to think adultery between 2 races is worse than child murder? I mean, during the time period where this takes place, you'd be surprised. Racists would absolutely think like this. They tend to treat the people they hate the same as, if not worse than, people who commit actual crimes, because in their head, being black is a crime. We have a whole president in office that's a whole felon, child predator, and literally indicted of falsifying business records and covering up sexual encounters. And what do some of his racist supporters do? They spend all day on Twitter doing blackface and making rage bait content scrutinizing black people. And this is the modern day. So imagine how much worse it was in the 60s when racism was way more rampant and unchecked.
Here's a novel idea, Charlotte, you self-righteous shithead. Clear Hank's name of being a kid killer, spread some of the accountability to Miss Kirsch, and then launch your civil rights protest. You're not gonna get anywhere when there's pissed off parents and townsfolk out there trying to kill the guy.
Once again, it's literally told to you in the show why they don't do this. Not only would it not really make a difference because he would have been a target regardless, but it also makes someone he was with a target by the authorities and potentially the townspeople you're talking about if the news gets out. Pay attention to the show, my dude.
To top it all off, she's got no regard for her husband, his career, his living that provides them with this nice home, food on the table, and all of the prestige and standing that comes with being a highly accommodated officer.
So because she has a relatively good life with her husband, that means she can't call out racism when she sees it. And it's not even that she has no regard for his job. She literally says she just wants to make the country he serves worth defending. She has no issue with him having a military career. If she had an issue with that, why would he even get with him in the first place? That logic makes literally no sense. What she has an actual issue with is Leroy letting his career and nationalism get in the way of doing what's right.
She's constantly berating him. You know, she takes pot shots at his service, his rank, and his allegiance to the United States. And she just won't shut the fuck up. You know, it's all about her. It's about her feelings. It's about her movement. It's about her goals. And everybody else is just along for the ride. This is Charlotte's story, and here we are.
Me.
Oh my god, it's all about her. Why won't she just shut the fuck up about her activism that helps dozens of people get justice? Why won't she just be quiet and appreciate her husband's career and just shut up? Like, at this point, I'm just waiting for him to pull a Burger King and say women should stay in the kitchen. Like, this whole mini rant just screams misogyny, my guy. You turned a simple disagreement in their relationship into a whole female empowerment versus male dilemma for literally no reason.
Before that little vein in my forehead starts popping out, let's move on to the second reason why Welcome to Derry sucks. The CGI. This shit is pretty self-explanatory, right? There's too much of it. And before someone says, well, Toller Talks, this is a low-budget TV show. What did you expect? Here's what I expect. I expect fucking balloons to not be CGI. I shit you not, every balloon, every 5-cent balloon that you can get from the damn dollar store was computer generated.
You serious?
Horror has always been the genre that's excelled at practical effects, so use them. That way you can save money on CGI blood, kills, and fire and put it towards this shit so it doesn't look like shit.
Okay, I could actually agree with the sentiment that the CGI was bad in some areas, like the graveyard sequence. Are we really gonna sit here and act like this was a bad shot? The effects are actually pretty horrifying here, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll just chalk that to it being his opinion. Let's keep going.
Instead of a CGI mutant baby, use a puppet. Instead of CGI slugs, use small animatronics. Instead of whatever the hell this is, do, well, anything else, for fuck's sake. I'm not gonna harp on this too much, because if you've seen Welcome to Derry, you know the exact CGI that I'm talking about. Unless, you know, you're one of those people that think this show is a masterpiece and has no flaws.
Are you dumb or something?
Everything has flaws, you shitweets.
Okay, the CGI is flawed. Valid critique. Once again, sucks that we had to get through a huge chunk of the video to get here, but we can at least agree on this.
Anyway, my third and final reason Welcome to Derry sucked is fucking with the source material.
Fuck.
I expected this show to give us more backstory and characterization of Pennywise, alright? But they not only did that, they deconstructed him with the introduction of the magical bullshit rocks that, and I can't stress this enough, don't show up anywhere in the book. Granted, some changes can be made from the source material. After all, this is the same book that had a bunch of children running a train on Beverly because Stephen King is a sick fuck, but not when it downplays the villain of the story. In Welcome to Derry, we find out that Pennywise is confined to Derry, as in he can't leave, because the Shokapila found some magical bullshit rocks where he crash landed and chose to put them all along the perimeter of what is now the town.
Not a great plan.
That's a bit interesting. I mean, why didn't they shrink down the perimeter, trapping Pennywise in a smaller area, which could have avoided hundreds of people from being killed? Don't know, just go with it.
Well, you kind of have to think about it, right? The smaller the cage is, the easier it would be for him to just concentrate his power in one area of the barrier and get out. Remember, the military was literally trying to do something like this in the show, and it ended up disrupting Pennywise's sleep cycle and waking up, leading to him taking dozens of children hostage. As far as the pillars being there to begin with and why that change was made from the book, I'm like 99% sure that was just the writers trying to explain why Pennywise didn't just leave Derry at an earlier time at one point and go apeshit on the rest of the world. So that's basically just an explanation as to why he's confined there specifically. Again, you have to actually explain why this change is bad other than, well, it wasn't in the books.
But instead of being an intergalactic cosmic god that stays in Derry of his own free will, Pennywise is reduced down to a dog that's stuck in a cage. It doesn't stop there either. The book outlines very strict rules regarding Pennywise and his sleep cycles. When the motherfucker hibernates, he hibernates. There's no waking him up. But what do you know? When the military removes one of the magical bullshit rocks, he springs right back up into action.
That change was made, again, because if we look at it from a logical standpoint, him staying in Derry instead of going out and praying worldwide makes no sense whatsoever. Especially since, like you said, he's a cosmic entity. Cosmic entities would basically just go wherever they want. The pillars being written in to restrict him were necessary, and it's pretty clear that those pillars restricting him played a huge role into his hibernation cycle. That's precisely the reason why removing one woke him up.
And then there's the time traveling ordeal. Oh boy. In the book, Pennywise exists outside of our linear timeline, right? Which means he can perceive things in the past, present, and future. But he can't change any of it. Once events are set in motion, they stay in motion. But here in the show, apparently, he's going back in time every time he dies in an attempt to destroy the bloodline that originally kills him in It Chapter 2.
So, assuming this is the logic we're going off of, they didn't really change much, because in fact, Pennywise says exactly what you're saying when he's talking to Marge, that he perceives time differently than we do. He's not really time traveling in the traditional sense. He tries to change it, he tries to prevent his death, but it literally just plays into his birth. That's what he says. Like, it's either, is it death or is it birth? Even Pennywise is confused by it all.
This is a major departure from the established rules, but it makes Pennywise look even more stupid. Because if he knew Marge was Rich's mother and Will was Mike's father, why didn't he just hard target them more? Fuck Ronnie, Lily, Rich, those kids at the beginning of the show, and everyone at the high school. You're a cosmic horror capable of devouring entire planets. Just go kill the fuckers you need to and call it a day. Nope, can't do it because reasons and plot armor.
Now, once again, a broken clock is right twice a day. I can kind of agree with this in the sense that they should have at least showed Pennywise like trying to kill the kids like way harder than he should have, because there are literally times where Pennywise had the chance to kill some of them alone and he didn't. This is something that I have criticized in my review of the show. Again, as bad as this review was, and believe me, this shit was insane, there were a couple of valid critiques in it, but goddamn, most of it is just rooted out by double standards, misogyny, racism, and just not understanding parts of the story at times. With that being said, y'all, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. If you like what you see, be sure to like the video, share, comment on the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.